What if everything you were told about how to attract women was wrong? What if, for years, you were conditioned to believe that being agreeable, emotionally available, and generous would make you irresistible, only to find yourself constantly overlooked, stuck in the friend zone, or worse, used and discarded like a disposable napkin? Meanwhile, another kind of man, a quieter force lurking outside the social hierarchy, seems to captivate without effort. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't even try to impress. And yet, he wins. Welcome to the channel. If you're a man who's tired of confusion, of second-guessing yourself, and you're ready to reclaim your masculine edge, then hit that subscribe button. Because today we're cracking open one of the most provocative, controversial, and revealing comparisons of the modern age. Sigma male versus nice guy. What do women really want? What actually draws them in beyond the scripted dating advice and pop psychology cliches? This isn't just about dating. This is about identity, about truth, about power. To understand this fully, we have to begin with a disturbing reality, a story most men know far too well. You're kind, you're respectful, you listen, you show up, you give her attention when she needs it, compliment her when she's down, offer support through every emotional roller coaster. She tells you, "You're such a good guy, any woman would be lucky to have you." But then she disappears, and next time you see her, she's wrapped around the arm of a man who doesn't text back, who mocks her in public, who doesn't even pretend to care about her feelings. And you sit there wondering, what did I do wrong? You were the nice guy, the dependable one, the textbook definition of what society tells men to be. But here's the problem. The nice guy doesn't exist as a compliment anymore. It's a performance, it's a mask. He thinks he's kind, but beneath the surface, he's transactional. He gives with the expectation of receiving. He flatters, hoping to be loved. He's not driven by self-worth. He's driven by fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of conflict. Fear of rejection. And women sense it. They feel it in his body language, his hesitations, his apologetic tone, his hunger for approval. And they recoil. Now, enter the Sigma male. Not loud like the alpha, not invisible like the beta. He moves in silence. He doesn't beg for attention. He commands it by simply being. He's self-contained, often misunderstood, and completely uninterested in conforming to what society expects of a man. He may not lead the pack, but he walks alone, and that very independence is intoxicating. The Sigma doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't fake confidence. He embodies it. He can be kind, but not because he's trying to win someone. He can listen, but not because he fears losing her. His emotional validation comes from within, not from a woman's opinion of him. And that's what changes everything. Psychologically speaking, women are biologically drawn to signals of strength, competence, and emotional security. But not the fake kind. Not the puppy dog eyes of the nice guy. Real strength is in restraint. Real confidence is quiet. And the Sigma male radiates both. He triggers curiosity, not comfort. Mystery, not predictability. Women don't feel like they have him figured out. And that's the hook. It's no coincidence that in ancient myths and modern films, even in the brooding bad boys of teenage novels, the silent outsider has always been the one women fantasize about. He's the lone wolf, the rogue warrior, the man who disappears into the night. Why? Because mystery invites projection. Because what's rare is valuable, and what's untouchable becomes unforgettable. But make no mistake, this isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about shedding the lies you were taught to believe about what makes a man desirable. The truth is, nice guys often aren't nice, they're scared. They manipulate with favors, guilt, and passive aggression. And women sense the hidden agenda. In contrast, the Sigma offers no promises, no illusions. He is who he is. Take it or leave it. And in that cold clarity lies an unexpected heat. Women are not turned off by kindness. They're turned off by weakness disguised as kindness. Imagine two men walk into a room. One is laughing loudly, trying to get everyone's attention, clearly trying too hard. The other stands alone, observing, quietly confident. Who do you notice more? Who would you want to impress? The Sigma doesn't need the room adjusts to him. But here's where things get complicated and dangerous. Because this isn't about becoming a Sigma just to get women. That would miss the point entirely. You don't become a Sigma. You strip away everything that isn't you. You reject the script. You stop trying to be liked. You stop chasing, and you start building your body, your mind, your purpose. You live for something beyond attention, and that is when they come to you. You begin to realize that women are not the prize, your mission is, and paradoxically, that's when women are drawn in like moths to a flame. This is where the nice guy fails. He makes women his goal, his validation, his reward, and in doing so, he loses both his power and his appeal. The Sigma, however, keeps walking.
And that stillness, unshaken, unbothered, unmoved, becomes magnetic.
There's a haunting truth buried in all of this, something most men don't want to admit, that the version of themselves they were taught to become, the good boy, the people pleaser, the polite, ever agreeable, emotional servant, was never going to win her heart. It was never meant to. It was meant to keep you tame. But the Sigma, he can't be tamed. And that's what women really want. Not someone who needs them, but someone who doesn't. Not because he's cold, but because he's full. In the next part, we'll uncover the hidden psychology behind female attraction. What science, history, and even evolution reveal about the kind of man women instinctively respond to. And we'll expose the final downfall of the nice guy and how to escape his fate forever. Let's go deeper into the ancient core of human instinct, where attraction is less about social etiquette and more about primal energy. For centuries, long before dating apps and pickup lines, women didn't choose men based on politeness or availability. They chose survival. They chose power. Not brute strength alone, but psychological dominance. The man who could stay calm under threat. The man who didn't flinch. The man who could walk into danger and return untouched. That man wasn't the loudest. He wasn't always the leader. But he was feared and respected. He was unpredictable. He had boundaries. He was sovereign. In today's world, that archetype has a name, Sigma. Science backs this up. In evolutionary psychology, mate selection isn't just about resources or good genes. It's about emotional stability and status signaling. The Sigma male sends both signals without even trying. He's not running after validation, and that tells a woman one crucial thing. This man doesn't need me, which means he has options. And that scarcity mindset, that aura of being one of a kind, activates a deeper part of the female psyche. Not conscious, not logical, instinctual. Compare that to the nice guy. He overtexts. He overexplains. He apologizes when he didn't do anything wrong. He waits by the phone. He lets her disrespect his time, his energy, and sometimes his dignity, just to keep the connection alive. What he doesn't realize is that every one of those actions silently communicates one word: desperation. And nothing kills attraction faster than that. The truth? Women don't want control over a man. They want to feel that if they disappeared, that man's world would keep spinning. That's not cruelty, that's security. And the Sigma provides it without even saying a word. There's a reason men like James Bond, John Wick, or even stoic figures like Batman captivate the collective imagination. They don't overshare. They don't beg. They move with purpose. They operate outside the system. That's not just fantasy. It's a reflection of something very real. The deep female craving for a man who is emotionally untouchable, yet physically present. A fortress, not a sponge. Now, does this mean you have to become emotionless? No. That's the mistake many make. The Sigma isn't numb, he's disciplined. He feels deeply, but he controls the expression. He doesn't collapse into emotion, he transforms it into power. He doesn't vent, he builds. And here's the twist. When a Sigma opens up, it matters. Because it's rare. Because it wasn't forced. Because it wasn't bait for attention. Women don't want a man who's always vulnerable. They want a man who chooses when to be vulnerable. That's what makes it powerful. The nice guy, on the other hand, opens up as a tactic. He thinks if he shares more, she'll see him as deep. But what she sees instead is a man bleeding on the floor, begging her to bandage his wounds. She didn't sign up to be his therapist. She wanted a partner, a protector, not a patient. So where does this leave you? It leaves you with a choice. Continue the cycle of overgiving, over-apologizing, and underliving, or step into your own authority. Reclaim your space. Withdraw your energy from people who take it for granted. Stop asking for permission to exist. Learn to walk alone, not out of bitterness, but out of abundance. When you become a Sigma, not by mimicking the aesthetic but by forging your own code, you no longer play the games, you rewrite them. You stop obsessing over what women want and start becoming what you want to be. Ironically, that's when they start noticing. That's when they start chasing. Not because you chase them, but because you chase something bigger. Purpose. Here's the real kicker. Women don't want perfect. They want presence. The kind of presence that doesn't waver, that doesn't seek approval, that doesn't crumble when tested. The nice guy will always crumble because he's built on sand. The Sigma male, he's built on bedrock. Think of the woman who says, "I just want a nice guy," but keeps dating toxic ones. What she means is that she wants a good man who's strong, not a nice man who's weak. There's a difference. One is desired, the other is tolerated. In the end, this isn't about labels. Not every Sigma is born that way. Some are forged through pain, through isolation, through betrayal. But instead of folding, they rebuild. Quietly, relentlessly, until one day they walk into the room and the room feels it. That can be you. But only if you're willing to kill the part of yourself that keeps asking to be saved. The world doesn't need more nice guys. It needs more men who walk in truth, who are fierce in peace, dangerous in stillness, and immune to the noise. So ask yourself, what version of you are you feeding today? The man who waits for love, or the man who becomes so full of life that love has no choice but to find him? That's what women really want. And deep down, you knew it all along.